Hello, welcome to yet another session of Speaking Cue Card. Today our topic is best friend. Okay, so here again I'm going to give you sample answer and from which we could discuss the several related questions which many of our students have got for the exams. Okay, now let's start writing. As usual, what you're going to do is first introduction, number 2 description, number 3 why you like your friend, why is he your favorite, or why is he your best friend. Introduction, description, why you like your friend. Introduction, description, why you like your friend. Okay, let's start writing, please. Write down. My best friend is dash. Next paragraph, you're going to describe your friend, and of course I've told you before how to describe a person. We have done this previously in gift. Remember, the mnemonic that we're going to use here is glaze. Okay, glaze is what we are going to use. Hope you have written glaze before. Gorgeous, lovely, adorable, charming, extraordinary. Okay, this is what glaze is. This is what we're going to use to describe a friend. Next paragraph, you're going to say why you like your friend. Okay, now very simple. Now look, now I'm going to describe what we wrote here. First you're going to say who is your friend, where do you meet him, when did you meet him, and so on. Who's your friend? I know him for the last 15 years. We used to go to the same school, sit on the same bench, spend at least 10 hours. How many hours you used to spend with each other? How long did you know him? Okay, where did you meet him? We said all of it in the first paragraph. In the second paragraph, you're going to describe him. You're going to use glaze on the person, glaze plus activities. You're going to describe him, use glaze. Gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable, lightish, darkish complexion, charming, sophisticated personality, extraordinary, sharp and striking facial features. Glaze, everything in an order. Glaze plus activities. And third part, you're going to say why you like your friend. You're going to use these words: dedication, charity, cooking, character, disposition, ethos, family values. D, C, 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 D, E, F. First you give an introduction, second part glaze plus activities you do together, third part why you like your friend would be D, C, 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 D, E, F. That's why you like your friend. Okay, now write down the next question, please. A beautiful person whom you know. Again, as I said, this is our concept-based learning. You can use the same concept here, this concept that we learned now, which is about the friend, about a person. So, a beautiful person whom I know is my best friend. You could say the same answer. We used to go to the same school, sit on the same bench, spend at least 10 hours in the company of each other. He's much closer to me than anyone else in the family. And the second part, you're going to use glaze plus activities you used to do together. Glaze plus activities. Glaze plus activities. And why you like your friend? D, C, 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 D, E, F. That's it. When you come to the third part, you could say she is not only a beautiful person to look at, she's also a very beautiful person within her. And what are they? And one of the striking aspects would be her dedication, her charitable nature, her cooking skills, her character, her disposition, her ethos and family values. Okay, that's D, C, 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 D, E, F. Next one. A person who can be a good leader. A person who can be a good leader. A person who can be a good leader is, same one, my best friend dash. We used to go to the same school, sit in the same bench, and say, known for 15 years, spend at least 10 hours company of each other, is much closer to me than anyone else in the family. And second part, you're going to describe your friend. When you describe your friend, use glaze plus activities. Glaze plus activities. Gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable lightish complexion, charming sophisticated personality, extraordinarily sharp and striking facial features. After school, what you used to do with him or her. And third part, you're going to say leadership qualities. Okay, you can use all of dedication is a leadership quality. Being kind is a leadership quality. A leader is expected to be friendly. A leader is expected to be calm and patient and have family values. All of these are leadership qualities. So you can use the same. Okay, that is a person who can be a good leader. Okay, next one. A person whom you like. A person whom I like is my best friend, yet again. And you say the same thing. You don't have to change anything at all. Okay, just say all of these. Just change the first sentence. A person who can be a good leader is my best friend. That's all the change you've got to make. The rest of the answer that you wrote would be the same. A person whom I like is my best friend dash, and then carry on with the answer. Everything that you wrote, so you could say it in the exam, same thing you could say with no changes whatsoever. Okay, that's the person whom you like. Next one. A person who is similar to you. A person who is similar to me is my best friend. Okay, we used to go to the same school, sit in the same bench. We used to spend at least 10 hours in the company of each other. It's much closer to me than anyone else in the family. And so, introduction, second part. So what are the similar qualities physically or perhaps also otherwise? He was a very popular person in the school like me. He or she looked attractive with glaze. Don't think saying whether am I attractive, don't bother about it at all. Just say it. Just like me, he or she looked attractive with glaze. Gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable lightish complexion, so on. First say he's a very popular person in school like me. He or she looked attractive like me with glaze, and also say activities after school, what you used to do. And the third part, you could say similar qualities that you have. And the third part you could start with, we share quite a few similar qualities. Both of us are dedicated. Both of us are charitable. We donate 10% of income to charities. Both of us have got good cooking skills. My favorite cuisine is Oriental, which is his favorite cuisine too. Once in a month we cook food for each other. We invite each other for meals, okay, and we cook food for each other. And both of us have got, let's say, enviable character. Both of us have got enviable character. We are affable, amiable, congenial, and very honest people too. Both of us have got nice disposition. But we are calm, composed, even-tempered, and equanimous. Very patient people too. If our friends get stuck with difficult concepts, we make sure to sit down with them and explain it, even if it took many hours. Finally, both of us have got strong ethos and family values. Both of us have got strong ethos and family values. Family comes to us before everything else, and we make sure to spend quality time with our family in spite of our busy schedule. So you could say the same, but the change that you're going to make here is both of us are dedicated, both of us are charitable, both of us have got good cooking skills, both of us have got enviable character, nice disposition, strong values. So you're going to say both of us have got this. Okay, so that is a person who is similar to you. A couple who are similar to one another. Yeah, you could talk about your best friend and his wife, or best friend and her husband. Where do they live? You could say they live opposite my home. Where do they live? Opposite my home. When did they move in? About 15 years back. Just say something. Say they moved in about 15 years back. Who are they? They are software engineers working in Dash company. And how many years you know him, or do you know them? Okay, I know them for the past 15 years from the time they moved in. Okay, so you could say your best friend and his wife, they live opposite your home. When did they move in? About 15 years back. Who are they? They are software engineers working in Technopark, and I know them for the last 15 years from the time they moved in. Okay, so that's the introduction, and the second part, you're going to describe them. Both of them are very popular people in the neighborhood. That's what we said, remember, in the beginning of the second part. Both of them are very popular people in the neighborhood. Are very popular people in the neighborhood. They, so both of them, or they look attractive with, you can use glaze. Gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable lightish complexion, charming sophisticated personality, and extraordinarily sharp and striking facial features. And after work, what do? They go to the beach, watch the sunset, have a leisurely stroll. It's a Friday evening, they go to a cinema, watch a newly released flick, and finish the day with a meal in a fine restaurant. So they do it together. And why do you like them, or what are the similar qualities other than this, other than what they do together? Perhaps you could say both of them. Both of them. Previously you said both of us. Here you're going to say both of them are dedicated. They're dedicated to their work, dedicated to friendship, dedicated to any relationship that they make. Both of them are charitable. They donate 10% of their income to charities. Okay, they spend their evenings and weekends in the nearby orphanage. Both of them have got real good cooking skills. Both of them have got enviable character. They are affable, amiable, congenial. Both of them have got nice disposition. They are calm, composed, even temper, equanimous, very patient people. Both of them have got strong ethos and family values. So here you're going to say both of them have got it. Both of them have got all these qualities. They share these qualities. So that's a couple, you know. Our first introduction, second part, you could say glaze plus activities. You just say both of them do it, and then similar qualities that they have would be DCC, CDF. Both of them share these qualities. First we said for one person, your best friend, then best friend and his wife. You just mentioned two people. If you want to say a group of your friends, then perhaps what are the similar qualities that all your friends in your group, in your gang have? You could say all of these qualities. You could describe them with glaze plus activities, and then what similar qualities that you and your group have be DCC, CDEF. You could say it for your group, in your street, or perhaps in your region. So all of them have these qualities. You can just generalize it. Okay, so it's not just for two people, and number of people you can use this the same. These are very general characteristics which you can apply for any number of people, because you know why? Nobody would deny these qualities. Okay, right, next one. Right, write down the next question. A family member whom you like. And okay, a family member whom you like. You can't say best friend here. Best friend is not your family. So you just have to come up with something else. Here, what would work here is a family member whom I like is my twin brother. And then you could say, we used to go to the same school, sit in the same bench, spend at least 8 hours in the company of each other. So he's much closer to me than anyone else in the family. So you could say the same thing, just change the first sentence. Previously you said, my best friend is, you just have to change it to a family member whom I like is, just say your twin brother, and then say the same answer. The second part, description will be glaze plus activities and why you like your twin brother, D, C, 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 D, E, F. Same answer for your twin brother too. Next one, a high profile political personality whom you like. 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 You could say, come up with some political person in your area. Just say some 2 or 3 sentences about him in the beginning. That's all you need to do. In the introduction, say about 2 or 3 sentences about the political person in the beginning. Say some truths about them, facts that everybody knows. First 3 points, that should be enough. And then second part, you're going to describe him. When you're going to describe, you say he's a very popular person in the country. He looks attractive with gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, glaze. And then you don't have to mention the activities you do with him. Okay, just mention glaze in description. Okay, the third part, you don't know this person personally. Okay, you don't know him personally, so just mention that you have read a biography of this person. Okay, just mention in the third part, before you start the third part, just mention that I have read a biography of that person, of dash. Okay, I have read a biography of dash. I have read a biography of dash, and from which I've come to know a lot about that person. What do you know about him? One of the striking aspects of that person is his dedication. Okay, and another quality which I like is his charitable nature. You say the whole thing, D, C, 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 D, E, F. All of them could be mentioned here. Okay, all of the very general qualities which you can apply for anyone. No one can deny it. Okay, because any politician, they wouldn't want to say that they are not charitable or no family values. No one would deny that. Okay, right, next one. Write down the next question. A leader you admire. Okay, again, you could use the same thing here. A leader you admire is a high profile political personality we just mentioned. Okay, a leader I admire is, who is it? Say a couple of truths about him to begin with. Perhaps he's a mayor of your city. Previously he used to be a local functionary, now he's become a mayor, or perhaps he's planning to run for president, whatever. Just 2 or 3 truths, that's it you want to say. Perhaps his previous positions, his current position, you could say. And then second part, you could say glaze, very popular person in the country, glaze. Plus in the third part, you have read a biography of that person, and then so you could say D, C, 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 D, E, F. Same answer, a leader you admire. Okay, next one. A person whom you met in a plane. Again, this is one of the typical IELTS questions which you encounter. Some of you might not have gone in a flight. Examiners, they're not bothered whether you have gone in a flight or not. They just give you this question. They don't check your passport. They just ask you this question. They say whether you've been on a flight or not, you've got to answer this question. So here it is. So what can you say? A person whom you met in a plane. You can see this person, this high profile political personality. A person whom you met in a plane is, say that person, dash. I met him in a dash flight from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. When did you meet him? It was in the year 2005 while I was reading first year nursing or first year engineering. Same thing which we mentioned earlier, remember? And who is he? Now you say that truths which we mentioned earlier. Perhaps he's a mayor of a city. Previously he was something else, and what is he planning to do? So we could say these things about what he is now, what was earlier, and so on. Just 2 or 3 sentences would be enough for who is he. And how long you could say even though sentence. Remember, even though it's been nearly 10 years since I met him in a plane, I still remember that day like it was just yesterday. Even though sentence. For how long? You say even though sentence. Second part, you're going to describe that meeting itself, that encounter itself. Okay, perhaps you could write it down, change it a bit, give it a bit of a context when you start the second part. You know the introduction, don't you, which is who is that person, dash, where did you meet him? In a flight, Jet Airways flight. When did you meet him? First year nursing. Who is he? Couple of truths which you know about him. And how long would be even though sentence. Even though sentence. And second part, you're going to put in a context to this meeting. Okay, write down. After the first part, after the introduction, this is the second part you're going to say. Write down, please. I was seated in a plane. I was seated in a plane. I was seated in a plane. I was seated in a plane, and the person who sat next to me, and the person who sat next to me looked familiar. And the person who sat next to me looked familiar. And the person who sat next to me looked familiar. And the person who sat next to me looked familiar. When I looked closer, when I looked closer, when I looked closer, when I looked closer, I realized it was none other than dash. Who is he? Just put that in. When I looked closer, I realized that it was none other than dash. None other than dash. Full stop. In person, in person, in person, he looked even more attractive than in a photo. In person, he looked even more attractive than in a photo. In person, he looked even more attractive than in a photo. With gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable lightish complexion or darkish complexion, charming, sophisticated personality, extraordinary sharp and striking facial features. In the third part, you could start with, I had a conversation with him for nearly 2 hours. Write down. In the third part, you could start with, I had a conversation with him for nearly 3 hours. I had a conversation with him. I had a conversation with him for nearly 3 hours. I had a conversation with him for nearly 3 hours. I had a conversation. I had a conversation with him for nearly 3 hours. For nearly 3 hours. And from that conversation, I came to know a lot about him. 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 And then what do you say? One of the striking aspects of dash is his dedication, is his charitable nature, his cooking skills, character, disposition, ethos, family values. Okay, same answer. Okay, but that is someone whom you met in a plane. Next one, a person from abroad whom you like to meet. So again, you could say some person, let's say Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie, you'd like to meet them. Okay, so a person from abroad whom I like to meet is, let's say, Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie, doesn't matter. Okay, you could say 2 or 3 truths about them, something that you know, some facts. So you could say he's a Hollywood actor, everybody knows it. He's been in the field for more than 15 years. I think so, hope so. Right, and his most famous movie is Troy. Once I saw that movie, I fell in love with that personality. So you could say something, or perhaps Angelina Jolie, her most famous movie is Lara Croft. Once I saw that movie, I fell in love with that personality. And describe Brad Pitt, of course you could say Glaze. You could say he's a very popular person in the world. Not in the school, he's a very popular person in the world. He looks attractive, or Angelina Jolie, she looks attractive with glaze. And activities, what do you like to do with Angelina Jolie when you do see her? Perhaps I'd like to go with her to the beach, or take her to the beach, watch the sunset, have a leisurely stroll. It's a Friday evening, we might even think about going to a cinema, watch a newly released flick, and finish the day with a meal in a fine restaurant. Very legitimate desires, right? Third part, why do you want to meet with this person? You could say, I've read a biography of Angelina Jolie or Brad Pitt, and I've come to know a lot about him or her. What is it? D, C, 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 D, E, F. Same answer. We've read the biography, I've come to know so much about him or her, and so that's why you want to meet him or her. So, same answer. Right, next one. An elderly neighbor whom you know. Okay, write down. An elderly neighbor whom I know is, come up with a name, dash. An elderly neighbor whom I know is, dash. Where does he live? Say, opposite my home. When did he move in? About 15 years back. Who is he? Perhaps he's an ex-serviceman, retired from the army. Ex-serviceman, retired from the army. And how many years you know him? I know him for the last 15 years from the time he moved in. Same answer we said earlier. Where does he live? Opposite my home. When did he move in? About 15 years back. Who is he? An ex-serviceman, retired from the army, and so on. In the second part, you're going to describe this elderly person. Second part, describe the elderly person. Okay, you could start with, is a very popular person in the neighborhood. Same answer. Is a very popular person in the neighborhood. He or she looks attractive with glaze. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's an elderly person, you could still use glaze. And then activities, what do you like to do with him or her? Or perhaps activities you do with him or her. What do you do after school or after work? You go to the beach, watch the sunset, have a leisurely stroll, Friday evening, watch a newly released flick. That's what you do with that elderly neighbor. And why you like that elderly neighbor? The third part, you could say, I like him for an array of reasons. Why? One of the striking aspects of him or her is a dedication, charity, cooking, character, disposition, ethos, family values. This is the reason why I like him. And that is an elderly person whom you know. Okay, next one. A person who does charity work. Okay, here, a person who does charity work is, you could say that elderly neighbor, the same person a person who does charity work is Dash, who is a elderly person. And where does he live? Opposite your home. When did he move in? About 15 years back. Who is he? An ex-serviceman retired from the army. An ex-serviceman retired from the army. Okay, ex-serviceman retired from the army. And he now runs an orphanage, you could say. And now he runs an orphanage in the locality. He runs an orphanage in the locality. And I've known him for the last 15 years from the time he moved in. You could say how many years you know him. For the last 15 years from the time he moved in. In the second part, you could say about that person. It described the person, very popular person in the neighborhood. He or she looks attractive with glaze, you said, plus activities. You could say it with reference to his charity work. You can say it with reference to his charity work. So when you say after school he takes the orphan children to the beach, say he's not taking you to the beach, you could say it with reference to the orphan children. He takes the orphan children to the beach, watch the sunset, have a leisurely stroll, and if it's a Friday evening, he takes them to the cinema and finish the day with a meal in a fine restaurant. That's what you say with reference to the orphan children. And then you say why you like him or her. Firstly, he's dedicated, and here again you're going to say it with reference to the orphan children. He's very dedicated to his orphanage work, dedicated to friendship or any kind of relationship he makes. He's also very charitable, of course. And another quality which I like is his cooking skills. And once in a month he cooks food for the orphan children. Once in a month he cooks food for orphan children. Okay, and his character is affable, amiable, and congenial towards orphan children. Affable, amiable, and congenial towards orphan children. He's a very honest person too. He's calm, composed, even-tempered, equanimous, and patient with the orphan children. He's very patient with them whenever they get stuck with any difficulties. Okay, whenever they get stuck with any difficulties, he makes sure to sit down with them and explain it, even if it took many hours. When they get stuck with difficult concepts, he makes sure to sit down with them and explain it, even if it took many hours. And ethos, family values, about what you like about him. So all of these you could say it with reference to the orphanage work. That is a person who does charity work. And remember, for cooking, when it comes to high-profile political personality, you don't have to say he cooks food for you. You just have to say that he cooks food for his own family once a month. That should be enough. You can say it for a high-profile political personality. Forgot to mention that. Okay, right. Okay, so that's a person who does charity work. Right. Next one. A foreign culture you like. There was a question which one of my students had last week. Previously, I said you can use it for everyone in the street, and you can use the same thing for perhaps everyone in your locality, and you could also, when you can just generalize it, you can say it to the whole country as well. In that context, now listen to this. A foreign culture you like is, let's say, Italian culture. Okay, here you could say, when you're going to talk about the Italian culture, you could say glaze. All Italians are very attractive with glaze, gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable lightish complexion, charming sophisticated personality, extraordinarily sharp and striking facial features. And after work or after school, what do they do? What do the Italians do? They go to the beach, watch the sunset, blah blah. Okay, you could talk about their culture. Foreign culture you like is Italian culture. And also the third part you could say, and what are the qualities of Italian culture that you like, or Italians that you like? Same thing. One of the striking aspects of their culture is dedication. They are dedicated to work, friendship, relationships, and they are very charitable. In that culture, everyone is charitable, and everyone from that culture have got real good cooking skills, and everyone is friendly, everyone is calm, and so they have got family values, ethos and family values. So you could use it for the whole country. First you started off with one person and then became two, and became, like you say, the whole street, if the whole country, you could say it for everyone. Very general concepts. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was your best friend.